Let's get started. Firstly, just want to say good morning to everyone and welcome to the BGL Online Summit. This is a virtual event showcasing some of our RegTech 2025 sponsors. My name's Lily Williams. I'm the Partnerships Manager at BGL, and today's session, Revolutionising Document Delivery and Compliance, is co-hosted by our friends at FuSign. I'm pleased to introduce today's presenter. We've got Jackson Brigg, Head of Sales at FuSign. FuSign is the accountant's choice for digital signing, made by accountants for accountants, with highly customizable features and seamless integration and industry apps. FuSign helps you streamline your workflows, boost efficiency, and keep costs down. The intuitive platform makes signing easy for both you, your clients, while their secure environment ensures peace of mind. With FuSign, your team is happier, focusing what really matters, your clients. Before we get started with today's session, I will just cover some general housekeeping. It will be recorded, so if you need to jump off early or if you do miss anything, you will receive a copy of the recording, and it's also posted on our YouTube channel. We also have the Q&A function open. So throughout the webinar, if you've got any questions, please pop them here and we will run over a Q&A session towards the end. So Jackson, I will hand it over to you to kick things off.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to steal your screen and show up what I've got here for us. So there we go. So thank you so much, Lily, and for BGL for having us as per usual. We absolutely love being a part of anything and anything BGL. So the RegTech event's coming up is going to be, again, I think maybe our 5th year, which we're really excited about. So looking forward to seeing a lot of you there. And yes, today is a bit more of an introduction for those who may not know too much about FuSign, FuseWorks as a business, to help you understand a little bit more about who we are, what we're about, and of course, that beautiful integration that we offer with the BGL suite. So as Lily mentioned, my name is Jackson Brigg. I'm the head of sales here with the team at FuSign. And of course, we have Lily with us today, who I might be throwing under the bus a couple of times. We'll see what happens. So a bit of an agenda, first and foremost, taking you through a bit of an introduction into our business. So a journey where we've come from, a little bit more about the differences with FuSign. Of course, we're not the only digital signing solution in the market, but we are certainly the fastest moving and industry specific. So a little bit more about what that means. And then, of course, a bit of a deep dive into the platform today as well, just to give you a bit of oversight into some of those features and functionality that I'm going to be talking about. And then finishing off with some more around the integration that we offer with BGL. So we'll dive straight in, and there will be a time there for our Q&A at the end. So please, if you do have questions, pop them in. If we don't get to them through the session itself, we'll certainly jump in at the end and make sure we answer all the questions that you've got there. So for those of you who don't know us yet, FuSign is powered by our overarching business, which is FuseWorks. And our mission is really, really straightforward. We are dedicated to working within the accounting industry, and we want to equip the industry with smart tools and software that enhance efficiency, save time, but most importantly, deliver a more meaningful experience. And that's to both you and your team, as well as your clients. And our story does start with firsthand experience. So well over a decade ago now, FuseWorks was actually born out of our founder's own chartered accounting practice based here in Brisbane. So Melissa Voss, co-founder and chartered accountant, alongside Scott Barber, our head of product, bring more than 40 years of combined experience, quite deeply rooted in the accounting industry. So throughout that journey, we are very familiar with a lot of the disruptions that we've seen in this industry, particularly when we're navigating that ever-evolving landscape of tech in this space, and we all moved to the cloud, and we know how stressful that was. So we genuinely do understand all those challenges, both the upsides and the downsides. And one of the major frustrations that our firm encountered was actually the lack of viable industry-specific digital signing platforms that were available to accountants, which we found quite shocking considering how critical document signing is for our space. And so our firm went on a bit of a countless exploration from looking at all the major providers out there around what we had. And we won't name names, but a lot of the ones that are widely recognized. And we honestly found them all to be incredibly lacking. So that frustration led us to then decide to say, look, we can do this better. We know this space. We know this industry. Let's build our own. And that was then really driven by wanting something that was cost effective, locally supported, packed with the right features and functionality pieces that we needed, while also making sure that we were integrating with a lot of the solutions that we use every day in practice. That we could offer something better, we pressed forward and we did. So FuseSign is a real testament to the commitment to this industry. And we proudly support well over 2,000 accounting practices across Australia, New Zealand, and more recently the UK. And we've become a leading provider in that space. So that's what we're going to delve into a little bit more today, as to why so many have chosen to partner with us, both on the app partner side, as well as firms that decide to work with us. But what I would love to do is get a quick gauge as to how many of us now actually use any kind of digital signing. So I'm going to run a quick poll just to get an understanding of if you use a current signing platform. A lot of us are still going the old-fashioned way, sending things out for signing via email, via the post. So great to get a bit of a gauge, and yeah, a huge split across firms using signing and not using digital signing. So hopefully we might fix that today. So I'll just let that run for a second. Awesome. Cool. Thank you for those who responded to that. A real split. So 73% using a signing platform at the moment, 27% not using anything. So I'll end that there. Now let's talk a little bit about the differences. So as I mentioned, we're not the only signing provider in the industry. I personally think we are the best. But there are a lot of reasons as to why accounting firms partner with us and nominate FuseSign as their provider of choice effectively. So we break it down into a couple of key areas that set us apart. If we take a step back, whenever we are looking to make enhancements, developments, providing a new integration, we're asking ourselves two questions, which is, how is this going to impact our client's experience, and how is it going to impact their team's experience, as well as your client experience on the end as well. So from your team internally, it's really about providing a platform that offers features that you are actually going to use. I think in our industry, we are quite often sold on software trying to be everything to everyone. And what you end up doing is spending quite a premium price on features and functionality that you'll never actually use. So for us, because we are so focused on getting feedback from accountants, it means that whenever we do any development or we're doing anything new, it's based on feedback that we're getting from you. So everything within our platform is utilized because it's all very, very focused on one space. So further to that, it's then about being highly integrated across the other software that you use daily. And we want to be able to create those substantial efficiencies in your team's day while making sure that we've got a consistent client experience across everything that's going out of your office. It's quite common for us to come across and meet with firms that might be using multiple signing solutions because they're trying to get those internal efficiencies, but then it's piecemeal out to the client. And depending on what we're sending, depends on how the client's receiving something, which honestly isn't a great experience. Or we have the flip side of that, where we're using one signing process for the clients, but then we're losing out on potential integrations across our app stack because they're not integrated or they don't offer that integration. So for us, it's about making sure that we offer that across the board. And then for the client side, it's simply about ease of use, and it shouldn't be more complicated than that. So something that we do occasionally hear from firms looking to adopt FuseSign, and maybe that 27% of us on the call today is saying, look, taking on something new like digital signing can be a little bit scary due to the client impact. I think it's one thing when we introduce new software to our team because we can preface that, we can prep them, we can take them through training, and we can manage some of the humps and bumps along the way. When we are introducing a new process to our clients, it's a whole other ball game. So we need to get it right the first go, and we don't want to be chopping and changing where possible. So for us, we go with the mentality of follow the bouncing ball. It needs to be simple, intuitive. We're not asking for usernames and passwords. There's no account set up, very transactional approach for the client. And it needs to just be something that they can get in on any device, sign off on their documents, and get out as soon as possible. And that's what we'll show you through a little bit of today. But it's something that we are incredibly proud of in terms of the signing experience that we offer for our end signers. So something that we'll do a bit of a deep dive into now. So let's do that. So we'll jump in, and what I want to show you today, we'll talk a bit about the BGL integration after this, but FuseSign was built and designed as a standalone platform first and foremost. So we have the ability to upload documents straight into FuseSign, tag up where clients might need to sign or interact with those documents, give them a really nice experience to sign them off, and then have those documents come back to complete the workflow. So we'll show you through today what that experience is like for your team and for your clients. And then we'll jump back and we'll talk a little bit about that beautiful BGL integration that we offer as well. So I'll bring up my FuseSign account. So this is FuseSign. We are cloud-based. It is again, a standalone platform first and foremost, with all those integrations that we do offer. So where we are now is up in our new bundle. So what I'll show you is how the team can come through, create that pack, get it ready to go to the client, and then what that client experience looks like. So where the team would live 99% of the time are in these top 4 tabs here. So pretty similar to our email inbox for those who, again, aren't familiar with digital signing. It's the same way that we look at our FuseSign inbox. So when we come to new, it's really similar to how we're creating an email. It's what are we saying in the email? What documents do we need to attach? And who are we sending it to? And they're the 3 main components with some nice, added bells and whistles to go along with it. Now, we can automate quite a lot of this process as well by setting things up in the global settings within your FuseSign account to say, well, we do have standard wording that we use in the emails that go out, and we want that consistency. So it doesn't matter who in our office is sending documents, the client is experiencing the same thing every time. So we can bring in some of that standard wording that we need to include in that email, depending on what we've got here. Also fully editable, but brings in the bulk of what we need. Then it's about making sure that we can automate a lot of this process as well by having things like automatic reminders. So again, we can set this up to say, well, as a standard, our business wants to go have those reminders sending 7 days after we send the bundle of documents and reminding weekly if they haven't yet signed those documents, which again is all still editable on the fly, but that way it's sort of, not up to the team to need to remember that. We let the system handle it, set and forget. When we come down, that next component was bringing in the documents that we're wanting to send for signing. So we can go through and do that here. A brand new feature that we just released out of beta this morning is a Word X to PDF conversion, automatic, which is amazing. That's been highly requested. So I won't show it today because I haven't played enough with it yet. But we do have that new feature that's just come to light, which is awesome. But for here, we'll bring in some PDF documents. And then it's the recipients that we're sending to. So we can handle really large document packs and we can handle really large recipient packs. So as many recipients and documents as we need, we can bring in. Now, this is where some of the integrations start coming in as well. So we do integrate with things like XPM, APS Contacts Plus, MYOB when it comes to contacts. So if we do have a single source of truth for all of our contact data within any of those 3 systems, it means we can easily connect FuseSign to then look at those contact details and continually sync. So we might use a family group as an example here. So of course, I will pick on myself. And then we might also say, let's pick on Amelia today, and we'll pick on Kyan as well. So we can bring in our recipients and our details here. And what we're looking for is name, email, mobile number if we've got it. Now, one of the great feature sets and something very unique to FuseSign is also then giving you the ability to nominate, well, who in the group do we actually need viewing, signing, but most importantly, not viewing the documents within this pack, which is huge for a lot of those complex packs or larger groups where we do have a lot of moving parts. We might say if we've got, mum, dad, and adult child, the cover letter is for all 3 parties. So we want all recipients to view that document, but they don't need to sign. We might say that the checklist is only actually relevant to mum and dad. We don't need Kyan, the adult child, viewing that document at all. So if we leave him to none, it means that he doesn't see that document as a part of his pack. Whereas the tax return might be for him. We want mum and dad to run their eye over it, but they don't need to action anything within that document. So it means, again, we can handle really large packs, a lot of moving parts, but making sure we're keeping privacy where relevant. And then the final stage here is going through and nominating where people need to sign. So we've got our little editor here that we can come into. I'll just make that a bit bigger with all the stamp options that you should need to tell us what needs to happen in terms of the engagement or the interaction from the client. So some documents are going to be quite simple. We might say we just need a standard signature and we need a signing date to populate when that document's signed. For Amelia, it might be quite similar, but we might say, well, look, we do need to confirm a change of address or give some more information ahead of a meeting. So we can use things like text lines, text paragraphs. We can use check boxes if we need to. Lots of different options there depending on what's required. that's our manual way. Now, our automated way, and I'll make myself the signer on this ELD as well, is giving you the ability to set up template. So for a lot of the recurring documents that we have, like an ELD is a great example, we know that signatures and dates are populating in the same place every single time we bring this document in. So we can, as a business, go through, tag up the documents where we need them, come through, and then we can save that as a template. So if I create this template, make sure I name it correctly, because then Lily can come in later and she can use that same template that was created prior. So for this example, we can come through and use an ELD template, confirm that we have the correct signers, and we can just apply, ready to go. So reduces human error, saves time, ideal. From this point, we're pretty well ready to go. The final thing that we have here as well is the ability to, if we have the mobile number, to leverage the mobile number. And there's two ways that we do that. The first way is by having a secure two-factor authentication option. Again, as a business, you can decide whether this is your default or whether this is an option that we even give the team to use. Really good where you have clients that share an email address, because then the two-factor, that the mobile that ties to that recipient, becomes a unique point of ID so that we can identify them uniquely. So we can use that to say, well, yes, we want a two-factor authentication before all three recipients here even view their documents. We might say, well, we don't actually have Kyan's mobile number, so let's use an email to verify. Or we might say, look, Kyan's not very tech savvy, and don't tell him I said that, but we might say then let's use the no two-factor, which is making it really simple for Kyan to go through into that email, click on the link, sign their documents, and just get out with no barriers. So very optional to the firm in terms of how we do that. I'll show you the email or the SMS option for myself from that side, just to show you what it looks like from the signer's perspective. But then the other way that we can also utilize that mobile data is doing things like enabling an SMS notification. So we are device agnostic. You can use FuseSign across any device. So mobile, laptop, iPad, tablet, doesn't matter. But what we can also do is not only notify the recipient via that email, but we can also notify them via the SMS. So it'll come through from the business. Lily's accounting firm have some documents for you to sign. Click on the unique link, go through, sign your documents accordingly. I will admit it's the only way that my accountant gets me signing documents, because I hate, after being a day in my email, to go home and then be in my personal emails. So send me a text. It's much more likely that I'll get documents signed off. And from that point, we can send up. So we get a quick preview of who is viewing and signing which documents, just as a bit of a sanity check. This email is all white labeled to the business. So we use your branding, your colors, your logos for the button. So it's a nice personal experience for the client, as well as that SMS would be replaced as well with that business name for yourselves. So we get familiar when those come through, that we can trust the link that's being sent. So we send off. Now I'll show you through that client experience. One of the cool things with FuseSign as well, and this is across any of our integrations, so like BGL, we have a full firm-wide dashboard across everything that's out for signing. So across all team members, the dates, the sent, the due, and it's even color-coded to the stage that it's in. So we know whether something's been actioned, whether it hasn't been, whether it's been viewed, whether it's been signed. We get a quick view across everything that's out. Again, even across the BGL packs that we send away, this becomes your single source of truth, which is awesome. So now looking at that signing experience, of course, like we said, all good and well if we give the team, a good experience internally, but if the clients don't get it, then we're in trouble. So this is the email that I've just had come through. I have also had that text message come to my phone, so I could do it that way. And even if this is the very first time that I'd use FuseSign, my process is exactly the same. So I come through, I click on the giant link that tells me to. So this is where that follow the bouncing ball model comes in. If we have asked the client to go through and use a two-factor, this is where I request it. So I request that code. That'll send me through a text with that number. And now trying to multitask, apologies. And then we can verify. So anyone who might be using or are familiar with using things like portals where they ask clients to set up a username and password, get rid of it. We kind of bring that into 2025. We're all very used to using two-factor authentication. So it's very simple in that sense. And then we're brought in and we can see exactly what needs to happen. So we then, again, are limiting what clients can do. There's only one place for me to go, and that's to click to start signing. When I'm then brought into these documents, I can see this is my view only document. So the only thing I need to do here is to view it and then click next. and I'm brought into my actual signing documents. So we can see here now that I have two options. So I sign or I reject. Now, for those who are using a different signing provider, one of the bugbears that we used to find is that if someone in this pack rejects a document, it voids everything that's gone out. So if you've sent the annual accounts pack out and the child's decided that they think they should get more, as a return, and they decline it, it means that we repack the whole thing, send out everything again, and people are re-signing documents. So with ViewSign, we give you the ability to reject by document. And again, when we're using that privacy control, might be something that's being rejected that the other people in the group aren't even privy to. So we shouldn't void off all their actions just because one person has rejected one document. So we can reject by document, and everything that's valid still goes back, finalized and approved. If I do reject something, I have to put in a note to say why. So I can't just reject it without any information. And that way we can notify you via email to say, hey, Jackson's rejected this checklist. This is what he said. If I'm happy with it, I can jump in and sign. We have the option to draw, or we can just type our name, and that'll populate a signature for me and then moves me into my next document. Same idea here. If I'm happy to go through and to sign the document, I'm really just approving my signature to populate, and then same on that next line. And then once we're finished, the system makes it very obvious for us to say, hey, you're all done, good to go, get out and get on with your day. So that's the client signing side. Again, very transactional, very simple. The mobile experience is very similar as well. So if we then jump back and kind of close the loop, the final thing is what happens when these documents come back, they're finalized, and we can move on. So if I just refresh my screen here, we'll see in my active dashboard that I have now signed all my documents, and we're still waiting for others to go through and do the same. We can do a bunch in here. I'm not going to spend too much time. We can take you through a bit of a one-on-one session if you want to find out a bit more about all the features and functionality pieces. But once everything has been signed off, we then automatically move it to completed. At this point, you are notified internally. So whether that goes back to who sent the bundle or whether it goes back to a team email, and we'll notify you to let you know that that pack is complete. We will also automatically send those documents to your client with the signed documents ready to go so they can file them away and keep them against their records. If you're using other beautiful pieces of software like FYI, we automatically file those documents back. So there's no manual need to download them from ViewSign. Otherwise, we can come in here directly, download the pack, save them away where they belong. And we can even then go through the process of archiving the bundle. And that way we're removing the documents out of ViewSign. We don't want to act as your document management solution. So we can make sure we keep all the history, keep the audit trails, but we're removing the documents out of our system just for safety. So that's kind of the end-to-end with ViewSign. Again, I could spend another 30 minutes talking to you about all the different features that we have there, but that's our standard approach with the workflow. So I'll jump back and now talk a little bit about the integration that we offer with with BGL. I already talked about FYI. So the integration that we offer with the BGL suite, and this is as per all of our integrations, is something you can take advantage of in a 14-day free trial. We don't ask for anything other than a name and an email. So you can go through and request a free trial, connect up to any of the BGL suite. So CAS 360, Simple Fund 360, Simple Invest 360, and test it all out. So it's a real, try before you buy offering. We certainly don't request anything from you before you make sure it's actually a good fit for you. Now, the BGL integration is certainly one of our favorites, and you'll see this shortly. I pulled some numbers yesterday in some of the growth that we've been seeing with our integration, which I'll show you. But it's really because the way that BGL have developed this integration. And the cool thing is that once you're connected, you can simply go in, create your documents. So using CAS as an example. And when you're ready to send that out for signing, you have the option to either send via email or send digitally via ViewSign, of course. And since BGL already know the document types and the relationships between the recipients, it automatically tags everyone that needs to sign everywhere throughout those different documents. And all you're needing to do is to click send once you're happy with the email that's prepared, ready to go. So there is literally no manual intervention, and it's just using ViewSign as the engine behind it. So it's absolutely brilliant, very seamless. And of course, once everything has been signed off, again, using CAS as the example, you're notified directly from within CAS. You can lodge directly from within their platform. So that end-to-end experience for your team and for your clients is seamless, is the only word for it. So we love it. Nice and easy to set up, which I'll talk about shortly. But this was really cool. These feel like fake numbers. Like I've just created this graph myself. I promise you I haven't. But over the last few years, this is the sheer amount of growth that we've seen of firms using the integration. And this is just from last month. This is constantly growing. And certainly, you know, where we started with the integration and where we are now are two very different places. We don't just plug in an integration and call it a day. There is constant continual improvement or, you know, development of that integration. So we listen to the feedback. Both BGL and our development teams work together to enhance that. So if you have maybe tested it previously and it wasn't quite the right fit, I'd highly suggest going through and testing it again, because the way that it's operating now, as of the last 12 months, is incredible. So yeah, I think that shows in the numbers. Amazing. Now, conscious of time, so how to get started with it. As I mentioned, you're welcome to start a 14-day free trial, which I'll run a poll for shortly. We can help you get that set up. There is absolutely no commitment, no credit card required. So name, email, and you can go through and get that trial and get it all connected up. So with the BGL suite, again, anything else that you might be using in terms of Contact Sync or FYI or any of these other integrations that we offer, easily within 15 minutes. It's very straightforward. And of course, all the support is there that you need in terms of actually getting started. So any training that you need, any changes that you might need to make to your email templates within BGL, both of our teams are there to support you throughout. And as any good accountant does love, no locking contracts. So all of our plans are month to month. You can start somewhere, move up, down, cancel anytime. We do not lock people in. You're welcome to have as much flexibility around those plans as you would like to, which again, we can look at and help you with. So on that note, we have a few questions. So I'll run this poll and then we'll get into that. If you would like to try this out yourself, you're more than welcome to. I will run this so that you've got the option to opt in, and we can reach out and give you some support with that to do so. Again, you can be using ViewSign standalone as well as with those integrations. So I'll just let that run for a sec and we'll get to some questions. Lily, were there any that had popped up there that you wanted to start with?
Yeah, we did have some really good questions come through.
Yep.
What I might do whilst everyone is answering the poll is I might just replace your screen share with mine.
Yep.
And just remind everyone that in less than 2 weeks' time, BGL RegTech 2025 kicks off. We have ViewSign as our exclusive diamond sponsor at this year's RegTech event. They'll have a stand in Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sydney, Adelaide, Perth, Hobart, and Melbourne, so all 7 locations. If you haven't already got your tickets, scan the QR code on the screen and register for your free tickets. And visit their stand to find out some more. But we do have some questions to get through, so we'll go through them. There was one that came through from Leah, which I'll read out. I think you did answer that, but we can just confirm. Can ViewSign import the signing people based on the link signatories in BGL?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So we leverage the contact integration that BGL will have with, again, the likes of, XPM, which means we're utilizing all that contact data there and we're pulling that through that ViewSign then uses to send those documents out. So via that integration, Leah, yes, we will leverage what you've got based in BGL.
Awesome. We've got Mark has asked, is it worth putting a signing box given the digital signature?
Yeah, that's a great question. Mark is always joining these webinars. He always has really good questions. So thanks, Mark. The question there is, and just to give a bit more context as well, is it worth putting a sign box given it's a digital signature? So ViewSign offers, and those might be familiar with like portals. They don't actually offer signature boxes. It's basically approving the contents of the document and using that digital certificate and the audit trail that's attached to the final documents once they've been approved as the proof to say, yes, this has been signed and approved by this recipient. This is the IP address where they signed. This is their name, email, mobile number that they authenticated via. So the short answer is, Mark, no, you don't really need to. It's kind of a preference and might be dependent on the documents that you're sending if we do need more input. But otherwise, we do also offer that whole document approval as an option. It's just preference to the firm, but no one is more legally binding than the other. So yeah, complete preference to the firm.
Yeah. Another one here, can checkboxes and text fields be automatically identified and added to a document throughout FuseSign?
Yeah, so we can't automatically identify on a PDF to say like, oh, do you see any positions here where a text box might be relevant? No, we can use that via the placeholder templates. So that's the way that we would identify that, but we don't have a way to read the PDF to identify where a checkbox or a text field might go. So we set it up once, we save it as a placeholder template, and then we use it in future moving forward. Yeah. And I think that one, Greta, hello, how are you? We might take that one offline because that's a pretty big question that you've got there, Greta. So we might I might just copy and paste that for myself, and we'll have a look at that one and come back.
Appreciate you sending it through though, Greta.
Yeah, that's great. So I've got
We
that.
do have time for a few more. Can I make the client draw their signature rather than typing?
Yes, yep, we have the draw signature option there as well. So if the client is required to draw, they can certainly do that. Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
I did have one. What plan do you need to be on for the integration? So if you go to our website, we have our plans all sitting there for you to go through and review. We'd be looking at that business light plan, which is $98 a month to utilize any of the integrations that we offer across our suite. Yeah. And, or do you have one there, Lee? Sorry.
Yeah, there's one here. We've got, sorry, there's a few.
Yeah.
Is the placeholder template based on location, height from bottom of page?
Yes. Yeah. So the placeholders are based on like the placements on the page effectively. So wherever we populated that on, if it was on page 2 in this position, that's where the placeholders will populate the next time we go to use it. Yeah. Did I miss pricing?
Yeah,
And it was not presented on the website. Yeah, on the website, if you'd like to go through and see all the pricing plans, everything is on at fusesign.com. Can't miss it. Great into BGL. Okay, Jane had a question, which is, we need to get an audit engagement letter signed, which is currently a Word document. Can this be integrated into BGL and then sent out via FuseSign? I highly doubt it can be integrated with BGL. Lily might not know more, but otherwise, I just suggest, Jane, bring that straight into FuseSign like we showed today and just send it out that way. We can do the automatic Word to PDF conversion. So yes, you are able to do that and just send it out via FuseSign directly. The client experience is going to be exactly the same. Great, we answered the one around the cost. Yes, do you have a 2FA linked for opening and viewing the documents, or is that optional? It is optional, but as a business owner or an admin with FuseSign, you can nominate whether you want the team to have them as an option or not. We even have some clients that don't offer the team the no 2FA option. So they have to use either email or SMS two-factor. So Michael, very much dependent on you as a business and what makes sense. Yeah. What happens if an email is incorrect? That's a great question. And thank you, Mark. So basically in FuseSign, you can in a live bundle go through and update an email, a name or a mobile number if it's outdated and we didn't realize. We don't need to retract the bundle to start again. We can go through and update those details. We send a little reminder email to the fresh details, and then the client can go through and finish signing their documents that way. So that is totally fine, Tina. If that's the case, we have a way around that. How do reminders work through BGL? Ooh, Lily, I don't know if you know the answer to this one.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of webinars on reminders in BGL. So if you like, we can get back to you, Karina. We do get a report of all these questions. So we'll touch base after this session.
Yeah, awesome. But yes, we do handle reminders through BGL. So again, similar to what FuseSign does, automatic reminders are handled through BGL as they are with FuseSign directly. Sorry, Jane, I'm just looking at your last question. Yes, so they would. So the question was based on that audit engagement letter that needs to go out. Does that mean they get to email? So yes, they get it via that email link, as well as that SMS option if you desire that option as well. Hope that helps. Jane, if you want a bit more support on that, feel free, if you hadn't responded to the poll, just reach out to our team and we can talk through that with you.
There's a good one from Nicole Jackson. We have a business light subscription with FuseSign. Is the link into
That's
BGL easy?
so easy. I'm going to sound very salesy, but yes, it's so easy. You go into BGL, again, if we're talking about CAD or Simple Fund, you've got the 9 dots up on the top right-hand corner. Assuming you are an admin user of FuseSign and of BGL, there was a button there that says integrations. You can't miss it. And there's an option there for digital signing, and you'll see FuseSign pop up. Click the link to connect, and you're good to go from there. And that does carry that integration. If you're using both Simple Fund and CAS, it'll be linked to both platforms automatically. So yeah, Nicole, reach out if you need us to give you a hand, but it's very straightforward to get that connected. Yes. Cool. Ready to sign for everything. Would appreciate some help with integration with BGL. Yep, James, support@fuse.work. If you're happy to go through and send us a support email, we will get in touch and help you with all of that. That's no problem at all. So support@fuse.work. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Jane. Beautiful. Mark, if you have time, can you elaborate on new FuseSign feature coming? If it's the one I was referring to before, the Word X to PDF conversion, mate, it's live now. So if you've got a Word document that you just want to try out, you can jump into FuseSign, upload that Word document. It'll ask you to just approve the conversion to make sure that you're happy with how we've done the conversion. And you can go straight ahead and tag up that document and send it out for signing. That's the newest one that's been released, but anyone who is a FuseSign user at the moment, we've got our Champions webinar, which we're doing a full product update next month. So that email will be going out shortly. So you can join that one, mate, and we'll have a bit more of an in-depth around what's coming. Thank you, Leah. Thanks, Mark. Is that available through FYI as well? Yes, Nicole, it is 100%. If you want to go through and connect FuseSign to FYI, whoever is your main contact at FuseSign, it might be worth reaching out to us who helped you get on board. So one of the guys here, we might want to do some more training with you just to make sure you're using those integrations in the best way. So feel free to reach out. We're happy to help with any of that. Emma, that's a great question. So do we select documents, report packs from within BGL? We want signed and it goes through to the Fuse dashboard like you demonstrated. It actually doesn't. And that's one of the cool things about the way that BGL have integrated the digital signing process. So you don't need to leave the BGL platform because again, we already know in BGL, based on those documents or reports, who the recipients are and where in the documents they need to sign. So BGL will automatically tag up that document pack. And all you need to do is to select to send for digital signature. It'll bring up that email template to make sure it says everything in it that you need it to say. And you just click send and FuseSign and BGL basically do the rest. So there's no need for you to launch into FuseSign because there's no manual intervention to get those documents tagged and sent out. If you go to the BGL support page or the FuseSign support page, in our knowledge base, both of us have a walkthrough video showing you exactly how that works, but both of our support teams are happy to help if you need anything more. Sorry, Nicole. The question was, is the Word doc conversion available through FYI? Yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, huge questions.
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions. Are there any more? I'm conscious of everyone's time. Yeah, yes. Hopefully it's good, Nicole. It should be. I had a bit of a play with it earlier last week and it was beautiful. So keen to hear some feedback if you've got it. Cool. I think that might be us, Lil.
If we didn't get round to answering your questions, as I said, we get a report of all of them anyway. So either BGL team or the FuseSign team will be in touch with you. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to Jackson from Fuse joining us today. As I mentioned earlier, they're our exclusive diamond sponsors of RegTech 2025. Grab your tickets if you haven't got them already. And to everyone else online, thank you so much. What a great session. I think we'd all agree, very engaging, very informative, and we look forward to the next one.
Thanks, Lily. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you around RegTech, hopefully in the next few weeks.